everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. So today I'm going to continue with my design team project for Junk with Steph, and if you watched my video where I made the cover, you will know that this is my first design team project for Steph, and I'm so excited. So we created this cover in a previous video, and I have off camera put together some papers for my signature. I haven't decided whether I have enough papers in here or not. There's 15 in total, I believe, with 3 of the papers being double-sided papers from the kit. And I've added some lace trim, and I've put the trim onto the patterned paper. So just flicking you through, I have 4, I believe. Nope, 3. Nope, there is 4. 4 papers, tea stain papers in between each patterned paper. And I've just stuck with 2 types of lace and alternated those onto the pattern papers. So really loving the way it's all coming together. I'm getting excited. So that's the middle of the signature. I won't flip you through the others, but I can show you the pattern papers and how they look, because they're beautiful. So again, 14 tea stain papers between each one. And then we have our beautiful pockets on the inside cover. So I have some things that I've fussy cut out, but today I think this video I want to use this paper bag. So I've had an idea, and it's kind of in line with the gift bags that I've made from my sandwich bags. So these are just sandwich bags that are purchased from the supermarket. Now I have an idea, and the idea has been inspired by the tags, the large tags and long journal cards, I guess you could call them, from Steph's kit. This isn't all of them, but my idea has been inspired by these pieces here and the shapes of them. So what I'm thinking I might do is I want to basically turn this into a page in my journal. I don't want it quite as big as the page itself. About there. So I can measure that and tell you roughly. My papers are A4 papers folded in half, so this is an A5 size. And I've ended up with this being about 7.5 inches tall. Okay, and so what I want to do is I want a collage. So in line with how I've previously done my little gift bags, I want to collage this now. What do I want to use? Now, because essentially I'm going to be sewing this into my signature, I did kind of wonder whether I should be reinforcing my paper bag. But when I decided I would collage the bag, I decided it probably isn't necessary, because I'm going to essentially be reinforcing it on the front and the back with digital papers. So now to kickstart, I'm thinking I might use, in Steph's kit, she has these 3 lined papers. Oh, and I can't decide. I think I'll use this one. Trying to decide where I would like to going to go about center. So what I might do is I might fold this. I just want to get an idea of where center is, and I'm going to do the same on this sheet. And then I'm basically going to roughly line those up and glue that down. Okay, so just wondering, I think I'm best to add my glue to the paper bag, if I can do that without tearing it. So this will reinforce the whole of the back of the paper bag, which will help when it's sewn into the signature, and it will add writing space to the back of the paper bag, which I think is really fun. So just making sure I get good coverage. I'm pretty happy with that. Not sure I'll be able to see my center mark anymore, so going to wing it. Say about there. And I should mention these sandwich bags or lunch bags are bags that I have purchased from my supermarket. I probably should have kept a packet of them out so I could show you, but I can tell you how big the bag is. So the bag itself is about 10 1/16 roughly by 7 15/16. So that gives you an idea of how big the bag is that I'm working with. Okay, and from there I really want to tear it. I just don't know whether I will be able to. Oh yes, that's working okay. Getting myself some fun little scraps. I may need to just cut that, I think. Okay, so that becomes the back of the bag. And I will ink that now before I forget. All the way around. And then I think I will ink this now before I do any more with the front. I am kind of thinking about leaving a border with the brown paper, but I haven't decided whether that's a good idea. So I guess I'll decide as I go. So all the way around this front part, and just as I did with the gift bag, this front section is going to become a pocket. Okay, fabulous. And then I need to choose my paper. I really love that doily that's this crocheted part here, so I want my plastic ruler because I can see through it, and I'm just going to tear the edge, oops, because I'd like a torn edge rather than a straight edge. Okay, one more edge and then we'll be ready to decide how wide we need it for our bag. So I'm thinking and either I haven't torn straight or the paper bag isn't straight, but I'm going to say about there. And I want to tear it this way. Not quite that much of an edge. So about there, which is a good thing because it's already torn. And then now, normally I wouldn't cover the whole of the underneath of the pocket, so to the fold line, but because I mentioned that this paper bag is quite fragile and I want to strengthen it, I'm going to do the whole of that area, and that will help strengthen that paper bag for when it's sewn into the signature. And just inking all the way around. Oops, I don't need to do there because that will be underneath. I might just do the edges just in case the paper bag doesn't cover it properly for some reason. Okay, and then we will get to gluing this and glue that down. I might get a new paper, I think. And I don't know that I will video everything I do for this journal. I think I mentioned that when I did the video for the cover. Obviously I've put the signature together and things like that off camera. I've sewn my laces on. I just don't know that time-wise I have enough time to video the whole process, but I will try and do bits and pieces on camera to share with you as I go. Okay. Sticky fingers, so I'm using a paper towel just so that I don't stick to that paper. And I've got bits everywhere. All my fibres from when I frayed the edges of the cover are sitting on the table there, and they just stuck to my finger. Okay, so that adds good stability there, and then at the front here, so I have some fun scraps there at the front. Just looking to see what I have. I'm kind of liking this darker area. Or maybe I can use that piece. I think that will work. Okay. And a little piece off this edge. Let me see what we're left with. I think I'll open that out. Just trying to make sure I'm relatively straight at the top. I don't think that's too bad. Yeah, I'm going to take that piece there. Okay. So inking this up. All the way around. I went the awkward way about turning that around just now. Okay. And I'm going to glue that down with my glue stick. And just roughly centering that. Okay, and I'm thinking I would like to fold it that way. I may score it, I think, just to be on the safe side. So how wide is it? It's about 8 inches, so that will make it about 4, roughly. I don't know why, but I seem to be getting blue. I just noticed here on my tool, and it's coming off onto the paper. Now I'm scoring this before I glue my pockets down because I don't want my pockets to be skewy when I fold the paper. So I've decided to fold first and then glue. Okay. So I'm going to use my art glitter glue. And I'm hoping I'm going to use my art glitter glue. There we go. On both sides. I'm gluing those into place. So I folded the paper as I was gluing to make sure that it sits correctly while it's folded. Okay, so taking my journal, and I'm thinking I might pop that halfway through the second signature, or second set, I guess, of tea stain papers. Popping that in there, and then I'm thinking, so these tags, Here we go. Okay, so I have these tags here. Really love that. I really love that. Oh, and I love that. Okay. I think because they both have the little cherubs or angels on them, I think I would like to use those. They're going to be in opposite ends, so they fit beautifully inside the top there. They would also fit really well in here, but I think I'd like to pop those in the top. Now, just going to ink this up. And I'm kind of wondering what I want to do with the backs of these. I think I might just add some tea stain paper. Just have some scraps here. Wondering, can I get... Oh, I can get both. I do like that side. It's a little bit lighter, so I'm going to glue them onto the back here. And then I think I will sew around them. But I'll do that off camera. I won't sew on camera. Sorry if I'm shaking the camera right now. Oops. Can I pick it up? Here we go. Okay. I think I'll just take it to that very edge. And I'm going to use my tear ruler, and I think I will just tear that away. Ready to do the next one. Didn't quite tear properly, so I'm just going to use my scissors. I'm not actually sure that tore very well either, but I'll ink it first and see whether I'm happy with it once it's inked. I think I'm going to have to cut that. So tearing isn't happy for me. Doesn't make me happy. So I'm just going to cut that. Fabulous. And I'm going to ink around it, and I do need to use my bone folder. I've got air bubbles by the look of it, so just quickly add the ink. I just need to burnish that down. I don't know if you can see the air bubbles disappearing before your very eyes, but I can, and that makes me happy. So making sure it's attached really well. I love that. Okay, and so my second one, just doing the same thing. And now that I know I had the air bubbles under the other one, I will burnish this one now. Okay. And I'm just going to cut around this. Oops. That's why I tear when I'm on camera, because I get nervous cutting. I don't know why. It makes me laugh, but I do. Oops, my scissors are sticky. Removing my scraps. And I still have an air bubble there. I think I will just quickly retouch. And okay, so they're my two tags now. Just looking to see what scraps I have. Just something delicate like that would be lovely. Even about there. I do want to punch. Now this isn't going to punch as big as the hole is. But I do have these. I don't know whether they're going to be big enough. Do like that. I haven't got enough inked up. And these little reinforcements I purchased off eBay. So I can't actually link you. I've got them probably about 12 months or so ago now. Stuck to my finger. Like, come off, you sticky dot, you. Okay, happy with that. Now back to my fabrics. And you know I want some calico, don't you? Thinking that's a little bit too long, and I possibly don't even want it that wide. Glue stuck on my finger. How horrible it looks. Terrible. Okay, I like that. Oops. Actually, wrong way. Going to just quickly zigzag down here. Won't be a moment. Okay, I love that detail that gave. And I'm going to use my fabric glue to glue that down, and I will be stitching around the outside. Okay, love that. It just needed a little something, and then, oops, got bits everywhere. This is not good. Yep, I think I'll pop that there. So these labels are from Artzology and they're called 110 piece number tags. Okay. Just going to ink. Oh, I might use the fabric glue because I'm essentially popping it over some fabric. And so I have here some threads. Some are from when I frayed the cover, and I think there may be a couple of sewing threads in here, and I'm just going to piece some together. Probably a few more. I've got 5 here now. I'm just going on the weight. I'm going to go about 10, I think. And I kind of stopped counting, so I'm hoping that's about right. And I'm going to thread those through for my topper. Because we don't like to waste anything, do we? I think that's really fun. Okay. Yes, those little pieces did go in the bin. And then this one here. So I'm thinking just going to keep them similar. Love that. So again, I'm just going to sew those together. It won't be a moment. Okay, so gluing those down. Hoping I'm putting the glue in the right place. I'm just trying to make sure that that calico in particular is glued down reasonably well. The lighter fabric will have a little bit of stitching through it when I go around the edge, but not so much the calico, so it's not too bad. Actually, I think that's pretty good. Okay, and then I'm thinking perhaps another label. know if I want blue or black. Well, I can't have a 10. I had a 10 on the other one. I think I like the black. Okay, and again, they're from Artzology, 110 piece number tags. Okay, so inking that. Oops. Okay, so I'll just sew around those. Oh, I better do my topper. I'll sew around those off camera. So again, roughly 10 threads. I want reasonably long. That puts me at 8, 9, 10. There we go. Okay, so they're the fronts of our tags, and then the back with the tea stained paper, and I will sew around them. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to use, I'm thinking I will use a dark thread. So I have a dark brown that I think would be a really nice contrast to the cream sewing that I've already done. So I do need to change the thread on my sewing machine to do those. Lots of fun. And then if I get the journal, so these will pop into the backs of those pockets like that. And then I need to come up with some little tags or journaling cards to go inside those pockets. So I will leave that video there because we're almost at time. Oh, I will just show you. I also have this snippet roll that I created just recently, and I'm thinking I will use that as a belly band, so I might just cut that to size. I haven't decided exactly where I will place it, but I thought that would be really sweet, and it's kind of the blues with the neutral, so it works really well with those papers. And I also have in my stash, I have this little slow stitched pocket. Now, it was just using scraps of fabric and I was playing with the slow stitching. My intention was kind of to tack those on, and then I was going to do a more detailed slow stitch, but I really loved the way it looked. What I'm thinking about doing is just a straight sewn stitch with the sewing machine around the outside, I'm thinking. So I may end up doing that with the dark cotton just as a contrast. Or do I want to keep it as the cream? Actually, I may do it just as the cream so that it's not too different from the slow stitching. And that slow stitching, I think I just used the butcher's twine that I used to bind my books with. And I think I used just a single strand or 2 strands of that from memory. I don't know, it might be cotton. I can't remember. Anyway, so I thought that might be a really fun addition. And then, okay, I've also got this altered paper clip, which was actually made from when I was doing the slow stitching. I put together a piece of scrap. Here we go. I actually had some scrap lining that I use on my covers, and I decided I wanted to play with that with my scraps. So all I did, I've got my needle there, all I did was pop a, that's not even sewn on, I think I glued it to that. I've glued it to, okay, so what I did was I've put my scrap pieces of fabric onto the lining, and I believe I just laid them on there. I may have added a little dollop of glue on each one, I think, to hold it in place, and then I've just free stitched it with the sewing machine as best I can. My sewing machine isn't necessarily made for free stitching, so I just went with the flow and I stitched all the way around it, and then I cut a piece of that off, and I then popped it onto the paper clip and glued on the backing fabric. So I think I cut the calico for the back, I attached the paper clip onto that, and then I glued on the piece of snippet off here, and then I sewed around the outside to attach it. But I did have a generous amount of glue around the paper clip. So, and then I've just finished that off with a little bit of scrappy fabric and a button, and I think that's really, really fun. So I thought that would work really, really beautifully in the journal as well. It's sort of the same fabric types as these 2 pieces. So yes, I found those in my stash, and I'm going to include those, and I think they work beautifully with the papers that I'm using. So thank you so much for joining me. I really love the way our paper bag page came out, and I'm excited to have my first tags created. I've just got to sew around those, and then they will be ready to include in the journal. So I look forward to seeing you all soon, everybody. Happy crafting, and bye for now.